Chuck, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if he was froze or if he was just staring.
No, I'm just contemplating the mood that I want to come into this episode.
Also, by the way, I'm not done with it yet, but your Trick or Treat episode, I left off before Joey. You gave a rating, so I don't know exactly what it was yet.
You're about at the end, yeah.
Yeah, about the end, but I'm like, yeah, you guys rated it as high as I would have, so
Yeah.
I'm good.
Well, unfortunately, we did not watch something as good. Brothers, sisters, gender resistors, welcome to another episode of the Comic Book Rundown presents Rundown Reviews. We watched Star Wars Episode VIII, the side quest.
There we go.
This is just a movie of side quests. This is a movie of side quests.
It's a movie of failure. It's a movie.
This is like, okay.
This is gonna be a hot topic.
This is gonna be really. Because it's a movie of identity of crisis and learning to live with your failures.
Uh-huh.
It's a movie of disappointing.
It's a movie of everything is horrible going on around us, but real quick, this villager needs me to go get them some bread so I can level up 2 points, and then fucking come back to the world falling apart.
I have a feeling there's going to be 2 people bombing this one and 2 people rising.
I think so too.
Here's the thing: I actually didn't hate this movie. I just hear in my brain, because if you are a part of the Patreon, head over to patreon.com/professionalcasual if you want to get in there. I asked our Discord channel specifically what it was that everybody hated about Poe Dameron in this, and personally, I don't see it.
This was a huge learning experience for someone, Poe Dameron, who thinks he's invincible. I think this was a great Poe Dameron story.
Thank you. I thought so too. Dan couldn't write a good character if it shit in his mouth, personally, but that was a joke. That was fully a joke, and I definitely didn't mean it.
What I replied to you in the boys chat was also a joke, but I did mean it.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
I believe Dan wrote, personally, I don't find him too bad in 7. He's insufferable in 8. And just kind of there in 9. I love Oscar Isaac, but I find Poe to be badly written and a bad character. He actively works against their best interests and tries to take control of things with bad ideas behind him. Explain to me, in this movie, where he had bad idea that got, I mean, I don't disagree that it didn't get a bunch of people killed of his idea, but my takeaway was, A, it's war, people are going to die.
Mm-hmm.
B, at least he's trying to fucking do something in this movie while everybody else is just standing around with ideas, apparently, but not actually communicating them to anybody in this.
Yeah, and why that had to be a secret, it didn't help anyone that was a secret.
Well,
there's no one on board that's like a spy.
Why would you not? Why would you not tell everybody immediately what was
going on? Yeah, it made no sense to me. That was
chain of command. Like the chain of command, he didn't have to know.
But in that situation where like there's 100 people whose all lives are on the line, I think everyone just needs to know what's going on so that everyone can be on board. Like chain of command falls apart at that point. Like we are no longer. This isn't a war effort. This is a escape mission, and everyone needs to know what the heck is going on to get out of there alive.
But this is also coming off the heels of him ignoring orders from Leia to take out Dreadnought, which was awesome. But he also lost his whole crew.
But
of course he lost his whole crew. The fucking bombers are absolutely useless.
I know the bombers are useless.
There's no way something should ever fly that slowly.
Also, they should
have only one button.
Yeah,
they can open up their bay. And also, why would the bombs need to be activated like before they fell out? Like it should be like something at the base of it that activates them as they fall through. Why would you want that much live ammunition inside of a ship before you drop it?
Also, can I just say, so we literally have put people in space, lightsabers in people's hands, hyperspace is where, but they haven't figured out Siri yet. Like you can't be like, "Hey bomber, drop the bombs" with your voice. Like it has to be a button.
This was a long time ago.
Well, not just a button attached to like a cable that for some reason was going to fall out of the ship.
This is where our universe has better technology than their universe at one point.
Here's my thing. And Joey, you prompted me to be able to say this.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You just said that Poe disobeyed orders, but he still got the thing done that he was supposed to do.
He did.
Well, and he gets demoted and lambasted and crucified for that. Meanwhile, in New Hope, we literally watch Luke get everybody fucking killed to make that run. And then they tell him to pull out, and he's just like, no, I'm just going to do it. I'm just Force. I'm just going to use the Force to take the shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
you know
he's saving. He saved.
And he got a medal at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
They glorified him.
That's because not only was he related to the person handing out the medals, which we didn't know at the time, but he was also trying to fuck her.
That we did know.
Here's the thing too here's why I think that Leia and what's her name, Holdo. I keep calling her Laura Dern.
Yeah.
That's her name.
Yeah, they failed as leaders here because they both knew that Poe Dameron was a trigger-happy flyboy. They call him out on it multiple times. Why then would you not, knowing that he will probably try to do a mutiny and take things into his own hands, just be like, hey, let me explain something to you real quick, what we're doing here, just so that you don't have any rash ideas right now. Why? It would take 5 minutes of their whole time. Like, that was clear on their part.
He's got a point, because if they would have explained it to Poe, Poe would have been like, oh, that'll actually work.
And he does. He literally says that when they explain it to him.
Yeah, he's like, that's a great idea. And the thing is, he would have never then sent Finn and Rose on that mission, which would have never then stopped. Like, the mission would have worked, and they all would have escaped, and no one would have died. But because Poe, which again, I'm not 100% blaming him. I'm blaming the fact that they were trying to keep this a secret for no apparent reason whatsoever. Poe is now the reason why all these people died.
That is true. I'll give you that. Yes.
It's like when you have a kid who's misbehaving. The last thing you do is just ignore him because obviously he wants the attention. So correct it, address it, and then like fucking clue him in on why he's not acting. Not just like, oh, he's bad, so we're just gonna send him over there. When he's acting like he wants attention.
Yeah. And also,
holy shit, no wonder they fucking lose.
Pointing out too, like, I think what Dan said about like, oh, Poe Dameron, like this and that, he wants to just take over and he's all this. Okay, remember, he's only a commander. He's not like a general or anything. He's still young. He's still pretty inexperienced in the ranks.
It's not
and he got demoted to captain.
He did get demoted captain, but like he never has to think about the grander scheme. He's always thinking about the mission, right?
Well,
so it's in Hamilton. George Washington even said like his first command, he put his people and they got massacred. It's like you don't get into it perfect. You make failures and you learn exactly what the whole moral of this movie is. You learn from your failures so you don't make them again and you become a better person from it.
If that's the story behind this episode, then why is the next one such a shit story?
Well, that's because
there's a whole background on that movie.
Here's my one review of this movie that I wrote down on Letterboxd is I want more Rian Johnson in Star Wars. If Rian Johnson could have finished his idea, it would have been glorious. Here's set this up beautifully.
Colin Trevorrow was supposed to take the baton and move on.
Trevorrow too. Yeah, would have totally
we were going to get Duel of the Fates, and I will highly, highly recommend anybody who has a podcast. Obviously, if you listen to this, if you love Star Wars, somebody took Trevorrow's script and they did they did like put audio to it. They read it out. It actually has some sounds behind it. Like the audio isn't great because it's like multiple people doing it in multiple different rooms over wherever. So the audio is not 100% great, but the story's there. You can find it. It's called Duel of the Fates, Star Wars Duel of the Fates on your any podcasting app you can find. Go take a listen. It wraps this story. What J.J. Abrams started, what Rian Johnson continued, wraps up so perfectly that it pisses me off that they threw it away to bring back Abrams and we got Rise of Skywalker.
Who Abrams is a known non-closer. Dude is genius for starting a story. Trash, garbage at finishing them. I don't think he's made one good finish to a movie, to a TV show or a movie.
What has J.J. Abrams directed?
Lost, the Star Trek
He was
movies.
Beginning of Lost, Star Trek that he's getting rid of.
He did. What's that one TV show that got 2 seasons that had the dude who plays Alan Grant in it? Alcatraz. His Bad Robot. He did Super 8, which I guess is a fine movie.
But that's a one-off movie.
A one-off movie, yeah. But J.J. Abrams does not know how to start. He knows how to start a story. He just never has an idea of what to finish.
Endings are hard. Endings for anything are hard.
But also, whenever you write a story, I feel like you kind of need to have the beginning and the ending squared away, and then you can fill in the middle. It's always, I don't think I've ever, there's probably maybe like one or two out there I'm not thinking of, but a story where someone started it and was like, I don't know how this is going to end. We'll just find out, where it actually ends well. It never ends well.
The Wheel of Time series? The Wheel of Time series.
He didn't end that. Somebody else did.
Well, yeah, but it was his notes, though.
Right, but he just didn't know where he
is Wheel of Time. Who's
Robert Jordan was the author. Yeah. He passed away.
Look, I know we're only
4 books.
I know we're only 10 minutes into this episode, but fuck George R.R. Martin.
Oh, I don't care for.
Yeah, no, we're never gonna get the rest of that series. Which fucking
no.
What happened to him? What did he do?
Still around.
Nothing. He's just a fucking lazy piece of shit.
And he's also
he's also
everything else.
He doesn't
personification of diabetes.
He doesn't need to finish it because he already made all of his money from the fucking show, so he just doesn't care.
He's like the opposite of Robert Kirkman, where Robert Kirkman was like, "I'll never stop writing Walking Dead, until I'll just keep going and going and going." Where George R.
until he wants to stop. Yeah.
I think Robert Kirkman even said he's just not going to stop. He's like, I'm just never going to stop until I die.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've already started reading the his new Energon universe, which is Transformers, G.I. Joe, and a bunch of other things over on Image Comics.
IDW.
Oh, no, it's Image. It's Image. Yeah, I know it was IDW, but I had to correct it. Dude, so good, so good.
Anyway, we should probably get back to Star Wars.
Well, I remember there was like a panel that had Stephen King and the Game of Thrones guy,
Martin.
Game of Thrones guy was like, you write a book a day? And Stephen King's just like, yeah, it's not hard.
Stephen King also is like, cocaine's a hell of a drug, let me tell you.
Yeah, it was back in the day.
Yeah. His greatest work was all crack riddled. It's great.
Dude, man.
I love it. Going back to
cocaine and autism, baby.
There were too many comedic relief tries in this.
Yes. I mentioned this when we talked about Force Awakens, that original trilogy was a good, solid, strong movie. We had C-3PO and R2-D2 being the comic relief. Prequels, we brought in Jar Jar to try and mix it up but we still had R2 and 3PO. This one, everybody has a one line.
It's like it's like when the D group all want to play chaotic good rogues. It's just like, shut up. You all can't be fucking assholes. Somebody has to play the straight guy here. Come on.
Force Awakens, it bothered me, but for some reason in this movie, it felt more genuine. It didn't feel
really, because I thought it felt less genuine in this one.
I had a different view of it. I don't know why. It really didn't
the whole
bother me
holding for General Hugs.
I thought that was
HUGS hugs.
I thought that was wonderful. That part.
But here's the thing.
It would have been funny if it would have been not, I don't know. It was too. It's obviously it's staged, but it was not. It was not something that would be believable.
I thought this movie found the perfect rhythm for General Hux. That he was not really a true foil to Kylo Ren, but he's like the Nepo baby who's trying to take control, but can't do anything without Daddy. I thought they found the perfect role for him in this movie.
I also feel bad because of what we get with him in the next movie.
Everything in the next movie is garbage.
Again, we'll get there. But no, the reason why, Jordan, because I think I'm feeling a little bit your way as well. The comedic relief here, a lot of it was great. Some of it was a little much. A lot of it was great, I think. But that's because we already know these characters. We've met them. We learned about them in the last movie. And now you're introducing, Luke. We're getting a full Luke in this movie. And he is...
stupid.
No, he's not stupid.
Luke is a trash character in this movie.
He's a trash character in the other ones. But he is distraught. He is broken down. Yeah. He doesn't care.
He's drinking milk right out of a fucking...
that's the one part I didn't like. That was the part where I'm like, I don't need a giant kid with blue milk and him kind of winking at the camera blue milk. I didn't need that part. That was a little
right. We didn't even get a blue milk to sell for that, so I don't understand.
That was actually Disney's coding for you should drink raw milk and fuck your regulations. That's what that actually was.
Okay.
There's a lot of I live in New York. in the country area, and they allegedly sell raw milk fucking everywhere under, because
that's how you get brainworms, right?
Listen, I know this, but that doesn't seem to stop anybody else. So,
but Luke in this is such a drama queen, and I realize that fits their bloodline.
He was a drama queen in the whole original series too.
That's what I'm saying. But like, he's supposed to have character development. He is supposed to have character development. Because he is still 20-year-old or 18-year-old Luke Skywalker, who was like, "Oh, I want to be a Jedi like my father before me." But
some people don't grow up, Ron. Some people just stay the same. You know what I mean? Like, they get older, they don't get wiser.
And true. Even when Yoda is there and like burns down the little temple thing. And he's all like, "You read books, huh?" And he's like, "Well, no, I didn't read them.
Well, no, you read them, but they just weren't great reads."
Page turners they were not. I actually really liked that he brought Yoda back in like his kind of eccentric thing. I'm all for like, let's get rid of the whole like prequel Yoda. I love Yoda being crazy.
This is puppet Yoda too. Like,
you gotta remember that like at this point in time, Yoda's what, like 900 and something years old.
Yeah, I mean
this is senile Yoda, and that's what we need.
That's what we love senile Yoda. So good.
I remember going to see this in theaters, and I recall Frank Oz being on the red carpet, and I'm like, oh, that's fun. They just brought Frank Oz back because of him being Yoda and the other ones. That's great. I had no idea. So when he shows up on screen, I was excited.
Yeah, it was a cool show up. Yeah. Oh man.
I was going to ask real quick. So I saw this in theaters opening night. Jordan?
Yep, opening. If opening night, not the second night, maybe.
Okay. Ron, did you go see this when it opened?
This is the first time I've ever seen it all the way through.
Okay. Don't know why I'm surprised by that. Chuck, did you see it?
I didn't. I saw it in theaters. I didn't see it opening night. I think this was kind of like one of those like matinees. 2:00 in the afternoon, I want to say.
Yeah.
But I do. When did it come out? 2017.
Yep, 2017.
What month was it?
December.
So,
so I may have taken my mom. Actually, I may not have seen it right when it came out, but I definitely think I took my mom to it because she was watching the Star Wars. Like, grew up with Star Wars. Like, she went and saw the first one in theaters, and like before she died, she wanted to see the end of this story finally. Yep. So I may have taken her for Christmas. That was like our Christmas thing.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was like so psyched for this one because I'm a huge fan of Rian Johnson, which is funny because I think probably my favorite thing he's ever done actually came out after this movie because I'm a huge fan. I think Glass Onion is like one of the most like perfect movies.
Knives Out and Glass Onion are amazing.
Knives Out is great. But Glass Onion is like on
the next one.
Yeah, just those movies are so good. And I was also a really big fan of Looper. I thought that was kind of like, I think that there were a lot of problems.
I liked Looper. I thought Looper was interesting.
It was fun.
Is that the one with the one guy that
Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah, where he like jumps through.
Has anyone made it through his first movie, Brick?
I haven't.
Okay, so Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it again, and the premise of this movie is like a L.A. noir film, but it's set where Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in high school. It was weird. I don't like that one as
21
much.
Jump Street?
Kind of, but a lot more serious. It takes itself way more serious.
All right.
Yeah.
I may check it out. Listen, I liked Nightcrawlers when you recommended it to
Well,
me,
this is not one I'm recommending as a good movie. This is one of the only Rian Johnson films that I don't technically really like. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So to go back to the dialogue and the joke. I was annoyed by it because everybody was doing it. If you had one person in the scene doing it and everybody else was the straight, like that's what made Han Solo work so well, was not everybody else doing it, right? Weirdly enough, I don't think we had enough C-3PO in the movie to help balance out all the comedy.
Yeah.
Then I had to stop because that stupid clip of George Lucas being there in a panel, and he says, well, it's made for 12-year-olds talking about Star Wars. Clicked in my brain of, oh, right, this was made for 12-year-olds. This is all how fucking young kids talk now. They're all the funny person in the group. So the dialogue is just more relatable, and I think we're just a bunch of old crusty men who just don't get it anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
you
we
and
know
Ron,
we know we're the funny people in the group. We don't need to prove it anymore. So
right,
right.
Yeah.
all four of us.
Yeah.
No quips ever going on here.
I'm sure
Nope.
I've said this. I'm sure I've said this on this show, but my favorite thing to do right now is to make up my own slang. And then when my students don't have any idea what I'm talking about, I just go, "Oh, that's weird. I guess you guys just aren't cool enough anymore. You don't even know the new slang."
This is coming from the guy who what was the one that you kept using wrong to your class?
Gooning. Yeah.
Gooning, yeah.
Gooning. Yeah.
That's just when you watch the Goonies a bunch.
I thought it was like a me bugging face, like you're a goon standing behind, just like, no, it is not. Apparently,
definitely not.
Apparently it's just edging. It's just fancy edging. That's all it is. It's new age edge.
Out of curiosity, so did anybody else think that Snoke looked like Daniel Craig?
No.
I thought he looked like Bill Nye.
I didn't think he looked like anyone.
Okay.
Oh, Bill
the
Nighy.
Science guy?
I could see Bill Nighy. No, the dude who played Davy Jones and is also in Love Actually.
Wait, did you mean Nighy or Bill Nye the Science Guy?
No, Nighy. Sorry, my bad. It's not my fault. They spelled their names.
Like Bill Nye the Science Guy if he was bald.
Just put a little bow tie on him.
Like a little bow tie. It's kind of the same.
No, there were a couple scenes when he was like facing to the side or something, and it looked like Daniel Craig to me.
No,
well, didn't Daniel Craig want to be in this?
He was in Force Awakens. He was a stormtrooper that releases Rey.
Yeah. What if what if that's the other thing is like he still hasn't revealed it yet, but he was the like the design for Snoke.
I mean,
I mean, we'll get into it when we get towards the end, but I thought Snoke looked terrible. I thought Snoke looked terrible when it came out.
There was a decent amount of CGI in this one that did not hold up.
No,
which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah, for the year, it's just like, what are we doing here? But I will say the space battle scenes I felt, had a level of cinematography we had not seen before.
Some of them. Some parts of them were...
Sure. I'm thinking more like the opening scene and then like the scenes where they're being chased down and then the Holdo maneuver. I mean, that just was gorgeous looking.
The Holdo maneuver was wonderful.
Yeah. So I just the opening scene, that whole battle felt like it came like a Rogue One
when
almost.
Goes through the ship, yeah.
Now back to when we were talking about people looking like other people. Is the guy that plays General Kennedy or Captain Kennedy or whatever? Is he Vigo from Ghostbusters 2? Like the dude that's in the portrait?
No, I'm pretty sure that guy's dead. But I do, yeah.
Well, I know the Ghostbusters took him out in like 1989 or whatever.
No, I think the actual guy's dead. But no, yeah, you're right. He does look like Vigo.
Who's General Kennedy? I don't even remember.
He's the guy in the first ship, the first dreadnought that gets blasted to shit. He's the one in charge of that dreadnought.
You should have launched them 5 bloody minutes ago.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That one got me.
Okay, here's the thing that I think is everyone's biggest complaint with this movie is Mary Poppins Leia. How do we feel about that? I want to get everyone's thoughts on it.
Let's start with somebody else.
Because I can tell you my thoughts on it. But
go ahead, you start.
Okay.
You probably have a happier thought of it than we do.
So
I'll end with a happy thought.
I think it looked.
that's Peter Pan.
The idea was good, but the execution was awful. Because this is what like jazzed me up when I saw this happen in theaters. Was I'm a huge fan of the X-Wing books. There's 9 of them. The X-Wing, like it's about Luke and Wedge creating this whole new X-Wing group in the New Republic, and it's like there's a Gamorrean pilot and stuff. It's just and a Ewok pilot. It's just really cool, like 9-book series. And one of the things that Luke learns to do is he gets blasted out and he has to shoot out of the X-Wing cockpit into space, and he learns to use the Force to create a barrier around him for a short period of time to get like picked up. So this was like a really cool Force ability that Luke had. And I was like, oh my gosh, Leia figured out the Force ability from the X-Wing series. So I was like super jazzed about it. But then when she like does the weird Superman handout floaty thing, I'm like, okay, that I don't like. And I also think they missed a huge opportunity for a good moment to actually kill Leia's off because Carrie Fisher had died before this. And I was like, no, this is a great moment because, again, what I love about this movie is it's about identity of crisis and learning from your failures. We start with Kylo Ren as like He's conflicted. He feels kind of bad about killing Han, but he's like, I got to do it. And then we see him hesitate about killing Leia. Imagine that, like, you hesitate, your defining moment to finally wipe out your family and prove that you are what you want to be, and someone else takes it from you and you're never going to get that back for yourself again. I thought that would have been a lot more useful to the story than bringing Leia back. She really didn't need to be there after that. She really only needed to be there for Kylo Ren's character to have some sort of like failure he has to grapple with. So as much as I was jazzed up that she like had this Force ability, I was also like, you missed a really good opportunity to just kind of write her out with a purpose that would actually move forward since Carrie Fisher has passed away. So those are all my thoughts about it.
Next.
Joey?
Oh, you want me to go next? All right, fine. To just a note on the Carrie Fisher dying, I remembered that same situation, and I thought, okay, yeah, I was literally looking for when she was going to die, like when they were going to write her out, because it would have been the perfect moment. But in doing that, we wouldn't have gotten the moment of her basically passing the torch to, like, officially passing the torch of leadership to Poe. We wouldn't have gotten like the very end with her and Rey having a moment, talking about Luke, talking about regrowing the Jedi. So there's that. Her doing the Force grab, kind of what you basically was, Force pull or whatever. Cheesy. Like, I wasn't it boggled my mind when it happened. I wasn't very like gung-ho for it. I'm not saying I've come around on it. It still is kind of weird. I feel like you could have done a better job, or a different job of her escaping. Like, instead of her actually flying out, she could have been there in the ship, like forcefully holding herself to the door. And then that is what drains her and puts her in a coma.
Yeah, it would have been way better.
Yeah, something like that. But I also know that if they did write her out at that moment, they're going to have to change up a shit ton of the movie. That being said, though, what we got of her in Rise of Skywalker was not great. Because she is gone. And the final movie, Duel of the Fates, maybe even Rise, was supposed to be her movie. Like, the first one was Han Solo. This one was Luke's. That was supposed to be her goodbye. And we never really got an official good goodbye, which sucks.
Yeah.
But as for that moment in particular, yeah, they could have done it better. They could have done something better.
Yeah, the CG was awful. Talking about bad CG that didn't hold up. That scene was not good.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I thought she could have died then, and it would have been fine. I remember when I originally watched it, I was like, I also forgot that she was Force sensitive, apparently, or is a Jedi now, or fucking whatever. But it also feels like, why was she able to do that if she wasn't still practicing anymore? Kind of thing, because like, wasn't the whole thing was like she kind of gave up on it? Like, Luke was trying to train her.
You'll find that out in the next movie.
Yeah.
That's okay, because like, I knew that was like a thing, but I just couldn't remember when it came up.
You can give up on the Force, but the Force doesn't give up on you, Chuck.
Well, but that is kind of what happened with Luke, though. Like, he gave up on that, but the Force kind of reached back out to him, basically saying, hey, you need to actually do something. Similar situation with Leia.
The whole thing is like, it needs to be a balance, right? Like, there needs to be balance, and no one side can have all the power. So why does he never realize that? And he realizes that he admits that he created Kylo because he saw the evil in him. But he could have just been like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't try to start another fucking like academy, like a Jedi Order again.
Well, maybe
we should just train and
it's also everybody was going back to the old ways. I mean, the whole Republic came back, the new Republic came back and just did exactly what the old Republic did, which is why they got narked. But
also from Luke's point, wouldn't you feel untouchable? You just went up against the Emperor and Darth Vader, and you came out victorious over that and turned your.
You came out like a fucking burnt little toast crispy. I don't know what you're talking about. He got the shit kicked out of him. The only reason why he made it was because his dad saved his ass.
But that's what I mean. He went in to do what he said he was going to do, turn his dad and take the Emperor
True.
out. So he was victorious. He was probably feeling untouchable. He's like, you know what? And he was all about, if we know one thing about Luke, it's that he is like the guy who makes his whole personal identity something he just learned about that he thinks is cool, right? He learned about Obi-Wan and the Force and was like, this is all I'm about now. And like, it's kind of the same thing where he's like, okay, I'm just going to keep building on that rather than stopping to be like, is this something I'm going to outgrow in 10 years? Yeah, maybe.
Well, it's like he blew up. It's like he said though, like he became a legend and he had to live up to that legend, and he failed that.
Another failure.
Yeah.
Finn also now a Republic or a Resistance hero. Failure at that. Like everyone failed at what they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Ron.
I thought it was dumb.
That's fine.
For as long as she was outside before she was even awake, she'd have been dead. Her body would have been exploded out into space or imploded in on itself. I don't know which way it works. Either way, it was absolute dog shit. If somebody else would have come out and grabbed her like in a ship or something, or if like at that moment like some random fighter pilot or C-3PO in a fucking pod, escape pod would have come out to her, I'd have been like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense than her fucking Supermaning back into the ship with force powers that she never uses, except for like the mental thing, like when she's getting like feelings of other people. That's all we ever see of her with force ever. Is her like, oh, Luke's playing with my nipples again. Or, whatever it is that he does from far away. Or when people that she knows are near her, she's like, oh, my kid's on that ship and he's going to blast us to shit. Whatever. Right? But we didn't need Leia in this movie after that. Like, no offense to her as a character or whatever, but like, her dying might have actually made more sense with them failing in the end. Because she doesn't do any leading in this, realistically.
She's asleep the whole time.
Well, even when she's not asleep, like she doesn't really make decisions. She just kind of sits there and sits there.
Yeah.
So she has to fly. If they could have given her a broom and I'd have given it I'd be like, oh, she's actually a witch from Death.
Yeah, but the broom was given to the kid at the end. So
yes.
Oh, that's right.
Which we'll get to that.
Yeah, sure. We'll get to that point.
We'll get to that. My next thing about this. Oh, sorry. If you want to go, Joe.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. I was going to say, I know the other thing that people like really bash about this movie is Canto Bight. And I do agree with them. It goes on way too long. Canto Bight should have been a 4 to 5 minute scene. That's all it should have been. They did not need to be on that planet as long as they did. They could have cleaned it up. They could have been there quick in, quick out. You would have gotten the same idea. All you're really there for is to show like the idea that like people are still abused, war profiteers are war profiteering. It's supposed to be the proof of there's no real good or bad. There's just people. And that's what it is.
People that make money.
People that make money. And then it also introduces my least favorite character in probably all of Star Wars ever is Benicio del Toro's character, DJ. I hate his character. Every decision he made in that character, I was like, this is awful. I hate this guy.
But this goes back to, if we backtrack it, had they not gone to Canto Bight, because had Poe been told the truth, we never would have got DJ. DJ never would have turned on them. He never would have heard about, Poe and telling Finn and Rose what was going on. So, and that also brings up a question: when did he turn on them?
It was after they got captured. Then he said, "I made a deal," because he says, "He was like, sorry."
He was like, "We got." Like literally, he was. But like, there's a part of me that thinks like he set that up to begin with.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was saying.
I don't think.
Well, yeah, because the only thing that saw them, quote unquote, saw them was a droid, right? That black droid that pops up in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But how did the droid know where they were going? Yeah, BB-9.
BB-9E.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How did that droid know where they were going? How did he know that they weren't actually who they said they were? Or who they were.
He recognized the trash can as a trash can that was driving around.
Sure, the trash can. But the other three people that are with him, like, how? It's not like he's going to be able to like roll a dex like, Oh, those people are.
It was
He could if he put his little
Actually,
joy
he
pin
didn't.
in the thing. Then
At
like
some point
He was not fucking the computer at that point in time, though. And then he would have had to have known that they were going for the whatever that made up bullshit they made up to track
the
ships.
MacGuffin.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, to track the ships through hyperspace. Because how would he have known that's what they were going for? They could have been there to kill Snoke. They could have been there to, fuck somebody's mom. Who knows?
I mean, it's a big ship. They were nowhere near Snoke.
Exactly. It was a huge ship. How did he know exactly where they were going to be? To show up before them, no less.
I think the whole point of DJ though was that he's like, I'm not an evil person. I'm just an opportunistic person like everyone else here. Like he's like, if this would have worked out and you would have paid me, I would have been fine. That's fine. I don't have any allegiance to anyone in this. So I think he didn't turn them in until they got caught.
Yeah, I think what the line is, there's no good and bad. There's just like, I can't remember something about machines. He
said like
no
we're
one
all just
really
cogs in the machine or something.
Yeah, something
which
like that.
Reminded me kind of like Andor, like the themes in Andor a little bit of like, well, there's no real good or bad side. Like everyone's just kind of, they think they're the good person in this. So like there's no real good or bad. It's all about a point of perspective.
Yeah.
But I also thought it was interesting too, because Finn says something to him after he sells him out. He's like, oh, you're gonna like regret this or you're wrong or whatever. And he kind of was like, maybe.
It walks off.
Like, maybe, and then walks away. He's like, he's literally saying, he's like, I don't know. I made this decision. It could be the wrong one. Could be the right one. Beats me.
I think I also just don't like Benicio del Toro.
Yeah. I've never
He's
been a
like,
fan of him either.
He's one of the 5 people that make the fist that I just want to punch people in the face because they look like they do.
I don't. They look like they do.
Dude, look, I don't know how to explain it, but there's like Greg Kinnear. I just want to, every time I see him, I want to punch him in the face. I don't know why. There's nothing wrong with the guy, probably.
Oh,
there's just something about him.
Mystery Men.
Yeah, I love that movie, and I'm so glad. Anyways, yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
I'm curious what the other 3 are now.
I'll explain it to you later.
Okay.
We've talked about a couple of them on the show at some point.
Yeah, yeah. You'll just have to go back and listen.
All right.
I don't think it was BB-8 that gave it away. I think it was Rose that actually gave it away, and here's why. And it really annoyed me. Yeah, pretty much. One is a woman in the First Order.
Captain's gear or whatever instead of like a peon or like.
But the thing that gives it away is that she doesn't have her hair in like protocol. It's like just her normal wispy hair, and it's like that would have if I could gather how any of that shit worked, she would have been like destroyed and told to put her hair up in the correct thing, and like they would have been stopped almost immediately because she was not in the like proper attire. So yeah, I bet you that droid looked at her hair and go, "Well, that's not right."
Yeah, that's a great point. Actually,
and also everybody knows who Finn is. He's a traitor.
He was working
and
on
also
these ships.
kind of the only black guy. Like,
like isn't that the one black stormtrooper who like left a year ago?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Aren't we all like hunting that dude?
Yeah,
like,
it's so true.
He's like a wanted man for us. We're all just gonna let him walk around. He's not back, right?
Look. You know what? It's because the First Order is racist, and they just assumed that every black guy looks the same, so they didn't really recognize that it was Finn.
Racism that really helped Finn out.
Until Phantasma. What the fuck is the silver-headed thing's name?
Phasma. Everybody else was under, actually in suits and helmets, so you couldn't see all the other black guys. Yeah.
That's why all the stormtroopers are white, is because Snoke's racist, or the Emperor's racist.
I mean, it's Snoke. We don't know it's the Emperor yet.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, is that ever confirmed that Emperor Palpatine was controlling Snoke's body the whole time?
Yeah, in Rise.
I thought that he was supposed to be a clone of him.
I thought he was a clone who was sentient on his own, but it had like Emperor's like genes in it.
Pretty.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I can't.
We'll wait till the next movie.
Okay.
Phasma is a very disappointing.
There.
Phasma is a very disappointing character to me, though.
Yeah, really bad.
Like got the super cool suit, got the super cool attitude, and goes down like a bitch.
Got absolutely Boba Fett right off the bat.
Worst line in the whole movie about like Chrome Dome or whatever. I'm like, dude, this is who wrote this garbage? Like,
see, that's another one of those lines. It was supposed to be like a funny, like quippy, like this is not an '80s action movie. Fuck off with that shit, guys.
Also, I'd argue
the severity of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like that should have been a very serious moment, and he was cracking jokes, but also not delivering the joke. Like you're not Han Solo in this, dude.
Yes,
like
that's what I found is I don't think John Boyega knows how to do comedy. I've never seen Attack the Block, which I hear is supposed to be kind of funny too, but like I think everything I've seen John Boyega in, there's been any humor that's tried to be conveyed is not done well.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot other than this 24, and wasn't he in like a Black Mirror episode or something like that, or some random show at some point? But like, I don't know. I just feel like he didn't know how to convey the comedy very well.
Okay, I don't disagree with you on that one.
I mean, he's a stormtrooper. They're not giving it.
Well, it's a small pool I'm pulling from, so don't come at me, John Boyega. But like, you know, a few things I've seen you in.
So why does everybody shit on Rey so much? Like in the movie, like Luke's like, "Oh, you're useless. You know, you're just this little voidling of dark side energy, and I don't want anything to do with you. And you're from the middle of nowhere because you're an absolute nothing." And then
parents didn't love you.
Yeah, and then Kylo Ren is like, "Oh yeah, you know, nobody thinks you're anything. You're just this nobody from nowhere, and your parents were nobodies that sold you for booze money, and then ended up dying in the desert. And everybody thinks you're a worthless piece of shit, but I love you."
But that's that's manipulating. That's what Kylo's doing. He knows how to get to her. He knows what her triggers are. He's negging her to try and like get her to date him, essentially.
Everybody hates you, huh?
Real quick, move your mic. Yeah, I'm getting some feedback on it.
Everybody hates you, but I'll love
this
you.
way or this way.
That was just some bad feedback. I just okay.
Which sounds better? I don't know where to put it.
I don't know. Just
closer
wherever,
to your mouth.
not where it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. We're not editing that out, by the way, everyone.
Oh, I'm leaving it in there. I don't really edit much anymore. But there was like
we know.
I can't text him because he's using his phone.
That's true.
It's all about transparency here.
I mean, you could have sent it in like the little group messaging on the side of the screen.
I thought about that, but I didn't know if you'd be able to check it or not.
I actually don't know. I can't remember if it pops up or not. Somebody send something in that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep, nope. I'd have to get out of here to look at
cool.
it. It pops up in a little like bubble that says chats. Anyway,
Joey said "fuck off," and Jordan said "boobs."
And now Jordan's muted.
All right.
Anyway. Okay, so the fight at the end with Kylo Ren cutting Snoke in half, and then him and Rey fighting those are Imperial guards, right?
Those are the Petruvian guards?
Praetorian,
thank you.
Okay.
Worthless. Those guys are just about as worthless. Actually, they're slightly better than Knights of Ren.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But here's my thing. There are like 45 different times in that fight scene where Kylo Ren could have killed... Huh?
Go on.
3.
What?
But where Kylo Ren could have killed them at like any given moment, but he's like instead he's like pushing them away or just like holding them back with one arm while he's like staring at Rey. But one death, my favorite death in this whole movie, is when he pushes him down into that like little reactor pod and he just like comes up in pieces. It was beautiful.
Oh, it was
there
great.
there were like at least 3 different moments when Rey should have died. Mm-hmm. One in particular is the guard that had like the 2 swords. He's attacking her. He gets her like up against him, like from the one sword up here. He has another one back here. It disappears. It's just you watch that scene. No,
he was copping a feel.
No, he had it and he brings it down, and then you see his hand. You don't see the sword, the knife anywhere else.
It's hard to grab somebody's ass when your hand's full of sword.
Well, he was trying to. Anyway.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to kill her. He was trying to do other things to her.
I'm just saying, there was multiple times
they weren't going to kill them, Joey. They got orders from Darth Vader that they had to stun. All right, they wanted him alive, so that's why they were trying to bring him in alive.
I feel they
have to.
I mean, no,
they have. They are required. Okay,
I will back
to
check
bring
up
him
on
to
this
justice
because the last order they got from Snoke was to leave her alone.
They literally just killed Snoke.
Yeah, but
they're gonna try and kill her.
To be fair, they killed Snoke, which would then mean that like Kylo is the next in charge, and they can't kill the next guy.
Well, they're trying to.
But the thing is, too, is like, can anyone blame Kylo Ren because the whole because Kylo lies and he's like, oh, Rey killed her and all this and that. But it's like, dude, you're technically like kind of a Sith. Your whole point is you're supposed to kill your master and take his place. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I think it's okay.
Yeah, but the Sith are dead. They're not. These guys aren't really Sith.
These are just Sith by another name.
Sith-like. Yeah. I also within that scene, I really wish they would not have shown the lightsaber turning on Snoke. Like, show Kylo with his hand, like, twitching, but don't show the lightsaber until it lights up, killing Snoke.
Exactly. Because that would have been more exciting.
That was an ingenious moment that, like, he's literally, like, masking what he's doing to Snoke by what he's doing to Rey, so that even if Snoke is reading his mind, everything falls in line with it. And I'm like, this was written and portrayed perfectly, except for, yes, they already like telegraphed that he was going to kill Snoke. I think it would have been way cooler if you just out of nowhere you were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Because if you're paying attention, when Snoke puts the saber down, it's, you know, facing those two, and then at the next moment it lighting up and going against him, you can be like, oh, you
how did that
happen together?
Turned the lightsaber towards his enemy and then turned it on to give
enemy
the finishing blow. Yeah.
I thought it was great. I'd like if they would have tweaked it just a little bit. I still thought it was good, but I feel like it could have been.
There were some good parts to this movie. There were some good parts, but on the whole,
does it feel good?
It was garbage.
Oh
no, it felt rough and abrasive and a little bit forced.
Let's talk about the best part of this movie that everyone talks about is thick Kylo Ren. I mean, no, we do not want him to cover himself with a cowl or something, Rey. Keep that big boy on screen as long as you can.
You know, why? She said a cowl.
Yeah.
That's a mask. She just wants him to cover his face.
Yeah.
She wants to see the body. She wants to see the body.
Yeah, he's got that scar.
His eyes are up here. She wants to look
down
here.
It's because he. Okay, is it just me or does Kylo Ren have a little bit of the tism?
Well, he is from Indiana.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You know. Yeah.
I don't know what that means. So.
Oh, autism. He's autistic.
Yeah. He's a very high functioning autism.
Schism. Like, what is schism?
It's a song.
Schism is a wrestling group, I believe, in NXT.
Yeah. Like a Schism dubstep artist from London.
Yup.
No, but like, I think that's the reason why he has a hard time breaking rules. Even that's why he lies and says that she killed Snoke, because he's like, oh, I know I'll get in trouble for this because
and why he's sometimes all of it at Luke.
Well, I also think that he told.
Sometimes when just some of his actions, like when he pulls out the lightsaber, he's getting ready to fight Luke, and he doesn't like stomp and like pops it out to the side. He's using it like it's one of those lightsabers that you have to like swing out that has the like blades that have the different sizes.
Yeah.
I feel like Kylo Ren never left the LARPing phase of his like learning how to be a Jedi. He's just still like pretending. He's pretty much like all like Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen when they're fighting, going making the sounds while they're doing.
Oh, speaking of that, Laura Dern was making pew pew sounds when she was shooting her gun.
I'm like, you are professional actors. You can't like come on.
Star Wars, it's like a dream come true for half of them.
I know, but I feel like this is your profession. You can't keep your mouth from
Laura Dern could pew pew while she was shooting my gun. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
Oh my goodness.
I wonder if it was a tracking thing to make the lasers like match up.
When they made the mouth
thing? We're just doing it for funsies.
Yeah, she was doing it for fun. Apparently, according to what I read on IMDb, there is the scene when she stuns one of the guys after the mutiny. You can actually see her mouthing pew pew. Like they took it out every other time they could. That one just couldn't.
Again, you are a professional. What is happening?
Sometimes you have to have fun.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The dice that meant nothing for 40 years.
Yes, I was like, way to bring up the most like insignificant niche thing that not even the most. I didn't even know what they were, and I'd say I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan, and I had no idea what any significance this had, other than the Star Wars Solo movie telling me.
Well, and I'm wondering if they brought that in specifically because they were going to play a big part in the Solo movie, which came out, 3 months later.
Yeah, 5.
But no, like, why? There's no point. Yes, they're in the original trilogy. Yes, we see them hanging in the Millennium Falcon. But why did they make such a big deal about it in this movie?
It was stupid. We didn't need that for that to be something for him to hand Leia, because Leia and Han in the original series never. It should have been something, and I don't know what it would have been, but like it should have been something that actually is from the original series that they like pointed out or talked about at some point.
The torque wrench she used when she was trying to tighten the thing, and Empire Strikes Back.
I know later on they give Chewbacca the medal, but like it could have even been the medal that they got after New Hope. Like that would have been good.
Yeah,
I would have been fun with that. I don't know.
So. I wanted to talk to Joey about this off screen, but I figured now's a good time to do it anyways. We need a new segment of the show called Taking Things Out of Context to Make Them Sound Sexy.
Okay.
So there's a point where Leia says to Laura Dern, I can't take anymore. And then she responds back with, yes, you can. You taught me how.
She says she can't take. Did she not say I can't take any more loss?
No. She says there's been so many deaths, I can't take any more.
Okay, fine.
Wow.
Ronald, everyone.
Thank you.
Doesn't that fall under the in the bingo for like sexual innuendo or something?
I mean, he wants if it was taken out of context.
He wants to specifically point it out now.
That like in context it's not sexual, but if you mess around with it a little bit.
That's why I said out of context.
You squint your eyes and use your imagination, Joe. You know what I mean? Like
I can get
if you do that, this is a good movie.
I will give it something I will give this movie credit for that they expanded on in the next one was the Kylo and Rey connecting scenes, like them.
They set up the dyad perfectly.
Ooh, yeah, that brings out something I hate also.
Okay.
So in the first movie, like Finn and Rey,
just friends.
They like each other more than friends.
No, I think that it was just a good friendship.
Finn definitely was like trying to maybe have a relationship. Rey was like, oh, a man, give me attention. Okay.
Sure. And then in this one, it's like, what if we pass the black dude on to the Asian chick instead? That way Disney can still have their white supremacy group as the main love interest.
Yeah, of course.
Is this the thing that gets mad about?
Yeah, this is the girl that everyone is like mad about for some reason.
Rose.
I don't remember why. Kelly
because
Tran is her name, I think, right?
Yeah,
what's her name?
Kelly Marie Tran.
Kelly Marie Tran.
I like Rose.
I'm not saying she's an okay character.
The end scene of her like stopping Finn, and then the line that she says like this is how we win. Like it's a decent line, but adding the we'll save the things we love and then giving him a kiss, like you didn't need to do that.
Also, her thought process is stupid. So she's going to potentially kill herself and Finn with a 5% chance of saving him, rather than letting him just off himself so that they could save everyone else. I'm like, your statistical analysis here is not very good, lady. But okay, whatever.
Listen, they needed Finn for the next movie for a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but that's also what I'm getting at. Like she gets sidelined in the next one when she was a main character in this one, and they should have kept her a main character in the next one.
It's because everything they set up in this movie that was supposed to pay off perfectly got sidelined. The whole idea of this movie too being that Rey could be a nobody from nowhere, that this kid on Canto Bight who is a slave child, these people could be, regardless of your bloodline, regardless of your upbringing, could be powerful people that can make a shift or a change for good or bad.
And that's why I like this movie.
And then they completely ruined it all with the next one. They made Rey get connected to the whole thing. And I'm like, no, this was great. Make her not connected to anything.
Abrams literally redid half this movie and then the rest of Rise. It's just like,
but in the next movie, her mom is banging hot.
I don't even remember what her mom looks like.
Yeah,
Isn't she in 2 seconds of a scene?
Yeah, well, that's all Ron needs.
That's all Ron needs. Okay,
to judge her.
No, that's not true. Okay, so I watched a whole show that she was in. It's called Killing Eve. And
wait,
yeah,
is it Jodie Turner?
Yeah,
Jodie Turner's the mom.
Comer.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, get it right, Joe.
Comer,
You're
I don't even know her.
I didn't realize that was from. Okay, you know what? I'll give you that one. Never mind. I take back my comment.
Yeah.
Listen, there's one thing that I'm good at in these movies, okay? That's remembering the hot people.
This movie, I guess my point is being, this movie set us up for what should have been a glorious end, and what it ended up being, which is a sad fizzle of nothing.
You know what? That might actually be why I don't like this movie, is because nothing pays off in it.
Exactly. I feel like I loved this movie so much when it came out. I was one of the, I think that maybe 20% of people like this movie when it came out.
I was part of that 20% then, yeah.
And I think that it does kind of sour it a little bit for me, knowing what happens in Rise of Skywalker.
The whole reason why I haven't watched the House of Dragon, because of what happens at the end of Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
That final Starbucks season
cup.
burnt
Starbucks
me.
Cup ruined everything.
Yeah, well. Really, Bran being on the throne ruined everything, but whatever.
I mean, listen, Starbucks ruining things is like a canon event, right?
Yeah, anymore.
Oh, yes. I mean, they are legitimately going to be, when we look back at the downfall of Western civilization, we will find the nexus point is when Starbucks is created.
I thought it was when Ellen got kicked off TV, but okay.
That was just a symptom of it all.
Well, yeah. Anyway. What else do I have
liked
here?
Rose and Finn, and I really wish they would have kept it.
Oh, I'm not saying I don't like them.
I'm not saying that it wasn't.
I wanted to say that like 35 minutes ago. That's
fair. No, that's fair. I'm not saying that they had a bad relationship. I'm just saying that it was so weird to watch it go from like, okay, so we've got these two people that are like, is it going to be romantic? Is it not going to be romantic? And then like, oh no, wait, we can't have a black dude and a white chick together in the same movie. Come on, what is this? This is Disney.
I liked it because I didn't want the romance with Rey. I wanted her to be like what she like. Why do you have to always fucking write the main character that's female have to have a love interest?
Have you not watched a Disney movie? That's the only way that works.
I know, Ron. But my point is they are setting it up to not do that by pawning Finn off with Rose. Sets up to just have a good, strong female character in a movie where you don't see that ever.
Here's the thing that I want to just bring up. In the novelization, they do make it out where Rey and Poe, like at the very end when he introduces himself to her, they have like a little bit of a spark, which makes it romantic aside, but like they get away from that when it comes to Rise.
Well, that's also, I think, going with Chuck's point of why does she need to have a romantic spark with every male character that comes into the story. Also, I do not believe for one second that Poe and Rey didn't meet at some point off screen.
Right?
Like,
well,
there's no way this is the first time they're meeting. Give me a break. You've been on that base for like a week together. You definitely met.
But were they?
She was with Leia the whole time that she was there when she was on base.
Because she did not leave the same hour that she got back in Force Awakens. There's no way. She changed her clothes. She had packed up the Millennium Falcon. They had to map out the thing. She was there for at least a day or two. And Poe was around that whole time too. There's no way their paths didn't cross during all of that. I felt like that was like a forced thing. I'm like, don't sit here and tell me that they're like, oh, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. They met. Get out of here. I don't buy it. I'm leaving here with all my money.
What if they did meet, but it was so unimportant to both of them that they didn't remember it?
It's kind of like when you're like, nice to meet, and you're like, we've met before, and you're like,
Dude, I have done that so many times. I feel really bad about it. But
I do that with anybody you bring around, Ron. I'm sorry. I do.
No, that's fair. I've introduced Joey more than one time to people because I'm not sure if he's met him or not. So. Joey's trying to call me a whore, but I'd like to think that I'm not.
No, I'm trying to say that I forget who you bring around. That's what I'm saying.
All right, I'll call you a whore. Ron, you're a whore.
I love you. I love you too, Chuck.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
I just wrote it off to being like the whole like, oh, there's a spark or whatever. I wrote that off to being that like Poe is just a fuck boy. Like he's a fuck fly boy.
We do get that in the next
with everybody. Like that's what he does.
meets up with Kerry Russell's character, and
Yeah.
Yes.
it's like, oh yeah, they definitely have
heartbeat, man. That's all he needs. You know what I mean?
I would have
Like,
loved
he
for
doesn't give a shit.
Poe to be like a bisexual character. Like he just flirts with everyone. Kind of
That's
like
the relationship I want. I want Finn.
But we
and
already
Rey.
had that with Han Solo.
I wanted Finn and Poe to just
yeah.
Listen,
Like
what's to say that Finn and Poe aren't another Lando and Han?
It
might be in the closet of the Millennium Falcon, but they are sharing the same clothes. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you mean best friends that for some reason also fucking hate each other and constantly have to backstab each other? Like that relationship?
I mean,
so like a gay married couple. Got it. Okay, cool.
Oh shit. Let's see here. What else do I have written down? Oh, Justice for Akbar, Admiral, or I guess he was I don't know what he was anymore.
Admiral. He was still the Admiral.
Was he still Admiral?
Yeah, can you go further than an Admiral? I feel like
I don't know.
One above that is the.
But he got blasted off real quick. That sucked.
That's because without him there, they knew that nobody would tell them that it's a trap.
Yeah, and that's how they kept falling into traps.
That's fair. Chewie eating the porgs was hilarious.
Dude, all right, listen.
That porg's face looks so sad.
But Chewie is the man, so like you can't even argue with it. Like,
okay. I had a little bit of a gripe with that though.
Really, you're gonna argue with the Wookiee?
Chewie is like a fucking captain or commander of the fucking Resistance. Why is he there? Why is he not helping?
He's the co-pilot of the Falcon.
Because Han basically told him to stick around with her.
Yeah, Han was like, he said something to the point of like, watch after
like the Resistance shit.
Did you watch?
I'm pretty sure he has some sort of
This is part of the mission though. The whole point everyone's trying to find Luke, we find out in this movie, is they want him to come back and help in the war effort. So he kind of is doing a bit of a part to try and help the war effort here.
By sitting in the Millennium Falcon?
No, because the only reason Luke even opened it up to Rey was because he saw Chewie was with her.
Because Chewie blew the door through the fucking building to get him to pay attention.
And Luke likes Chewie.
True.
So he was the kind of liaison. He's like, I'm going to be here to get the goodwill going.
That's because Chewie would have ripped off his arms if he didn't agree to do it.
Chewbacca is a diplomat.
Chewbacca is my kind of diplomat.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it, but all right.
You're also leaving here with all your money.
Man, I wish I had another one of these.
We're not sponsored by anyone, but boy, when it is a warm day out, we love a crisp autumn ale from.
It's a pumpkin ale from Schlafly. I don't know. It's good though.
When I have a bad day, I love a Schlafly in my hand. It just makes every day better.
Let's see here. What else do I have?
I wonder if there's any local breweries that I could get to sponsor the show.
Hey, that's what my podcast did. We got local breweries to have us do live shows, and they would give us cases of beer every time we did one.
Here's the difference. Yes. Here's the difference. You two live in a different state. I can't really.
It was
bring
easy.
You guys here.
I could only do it because my group all lived in the same town for most of our run.
Yeah.
But hear me out. When we go back to doing comics, and it's just the two of us.
There you go.
And we're only doing this like once a month. I mean, it'd be worth. I know people. I can find. Let me make a note.
The only thing is, I want to try actually do video for those because I want to actually put up video of us doing the comics on the YouTube page.
Hell yeah.
Or you can do what I did and just completely go away from the initial reason I did the podcast and morph it into something that was more digestible for what the breweries wanted, so they would hire us on, and I could get beer.
Yeah, but the show is still called Comic Rundown. I haven't decided to change it yet. So,
have you considered just ending it altogether and just saying you're going on a different hiatus?
Why would we do that?
Also, teasing
our show is popping. We have like 12 people listening now. This is the most we've ever had listening.
We have about 20. I think we're
listen. I have brought on at least 3 people. Okay,
and I just told you I might have gotten you another one today.
That's 4. That's 4. And plus, I listen to it, and I know Chuck listens to it.
I listen to it,
and Jordan listens to it. That's 7 people.
Every now and then, Carter might listen to it like once a year.
I'm pretty sure that I have convinced people to listen to it also because I've been sticking our stickers in bathrooms.
Yeah.
And that's where I get all my podcast recommendations.
Well, hear me out. Hear me out. When you are sitting on the shitter, right, and you're looking around, you're on your phone, right? You look up from your phone, and on the back of the door, you see the sticker, and you're like, "What the fuck is the comic book rundown?" And then you're like, so you look up, and you're like, "I'm gonna just log this way for
got nothing better to do while you're pooping for an hour."
Right?
I'm gonna guess Ron doesn't have a date tonight because usually Ron's the one pushing us all off.
I had a busy weekend.
Yeah, I could tell. Yeah. Anyway, Joey, what was your last note? 45 minutes ago, you want to bring us up?
I've got my one little note. I got something written down, something that Yoda said to Luke, obviously, because that's the only time we see Yoda. And I think this line is just really poignant with the movie itself. We are what we grow beyond. That is the true burden of all masters.
Yes,
really,
I did like
really
that.
good line.
I thought that was a great. I thought that was a great line too about how like we aspire to teach so they become better than us, and it gets better and better and better.
But you have to teach them everything. You know, you teach them the good stuff,
and you have to be okay when they bypass you too.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I think that's kind of the point of the story, like the overall arcing story that they were trying to tell the audience, which is like, hey, this is different now. Like the whole idea is like Luke is all the old hats that love Star Wars and that are mad. And it's like, hey, maybe we have to let go and like let them finish the story of like what this is supposed to be, and getting rid of the idea of what we knew Star Wars to be based on what we grew up on, and let this be another movie for this
the next generation. Yeah.
Right. The subliminal messaging of
the next generation is a Star Trek thing.
Yes,
it's also a Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing, but that's besides the point.
It was like a subliminal thing about being like, oh, you read all those books? You mean all of the encyclopedias that tell you about the dimensional requirements of an AT-AT or all of that? Like, yeah, no, they weren't page turners. And it's like, that's us. That's our generation. We're like, yes, I had every book about vehicles and space stations, and I could tell you what type of like company made the engine for this thing.
Out of context, like, I read one book that was like the new Jedi Order that like had Han and Leia's twins in it.
Mm-hmm.
I read one book of that. It was actually pretty good.
Oh, most of the Legends books are great. There's a few that are terrible, but most of them are good.
But I was really sad that they didn't have twins in this one, because I feel like that would have worked. You know, like I when I first watched what was the last one? Force Awakens.
Oh,
yeah. Like, when I first watched The Force Awakens, I thought that like Rey was going to be like their other kid that, you know.
Oh, or Rey could have been a twin. That would have been cool.
That's what I'm saying. Like Ben and Rey would have been twins, and like,
yeah.
I thought this from when I watched 7. I go, oh, they're going to be related, because I had heard about like the fact that they had 2 kids. And I was like, oh, well, maybe they thought they lost one or something, or I don't know, blah, blah, blah. They'll explain. And,
you know,
they were
Han had to spell one to one of the Hutts to pay a debt.
Well, yeah, or some, you know, so maybe not.
Which is why, hey, that's why Leia and Han were estranged.
But like the idea of it being like, hey, we're just going to take all the elements from the, original trilogy and essentially just rewrite them, because that is what they're doing here. They are very much just rewriting the original trilogy.
That's what Force Awakens was.
Mm-hmm.
Force Awakens was definitely a
Last Jedi is pretty much an Empire Strikes Back.
See,
I don't think
everybody's losing. Everybody on the good side is losing.
100%.
And then, you know, like where's you know, until you get to the Return of the Jedi, where they start winning again.
The Battle of Hoth, it's salt.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, and they specifically said that so you didn't think it was snow.
Yeah, they specifically did that. Yes.
Oh, why did it turn red? Why did it turn red?
So it's the red was underneath. Cool. The salt is what blows around the planet.
I thought somebody was bleeding and he stepped in it.
That's fair. No, but like the red is the planet.
And then the dude like licks it. Who sees something on the ground and he's like,
my 12-year-olds. My 5-year-old nephew.
That dude was like 37 years old.
He can't eat mud at the pumpkin patch because it could be cow poop.
Love it. Yeah. Let's get into that scene. I totally forgot. So the fight with Luke and Kylo. What were you guys' thoughts on that?
Oh, he does.
I'll start.
Go ahead. Ron.
Okay.
So I was excited at first. Obviously, when Luke gets blasted with every single gun there for like 45 minutes, overkill, wasn't needed. That's when you realize the Luke's not there, because I don't care how strong of a Jedi you are, that's too much firepower. But like their fight scene was actually pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved how like the killing blow that Kylo went for, other than the stomp thing that he did to like, activate his lightsaber, because it's sound activated. Like I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty decent. And then he pokes him with it to see that he's not real, and that was kind of funny too.
Yeah.
But that was funny in a serious way where it fit the scene, not funny in like a, I don't know, a Chrome Dome way.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was totally good. I wish
seeing Luke move like that, I was impressed.
Yeah, I feel like I thought it was cool because Luke was showing like a little bit of restraint, like he was kind of like not wanting to go full force on it. But I wish Luke maybe had. I feel the way that it was like, oh, he died afterwards was a little interesting. I feel like they could have. I agree that I think he should have like become one with the Force afterwards, but I don't think they explained it well enough.
I feel like he should have died because he got stabbed with a lightsaber through his Force thing that was actually his mind that was out there, and then he could have died anyways.
But I think it's Kylo who explains it, that the amount of power you need to Force project yourself, like Rey didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Luke had shut himself off from the Force, even if he did have the ability at one point in time, put so much strain on him that, it did kill him. Like, but I've also seen this movie a number of times, so like I've dug in and out of everything. So I kind of
I wish it would have been more like a Thanos situation, where like when Thor gets him and he's like, "You should have went for the head. You didn't kill." Like he was actually there, like fighting, and like Kylo like stabs him, and like Luke's like kind of dying but not dead yet, and Kylo's like, "I've defeated you finally." He's like, "Or did you just waste a bunch of time?" And
Force healing, guys. What's up?
Yeah, but then also Luke could have died there, because then Kylo could have gotten really pissed and actually killed him in his rage. But then also proven that like Luke was there as a decoy and giving his life in a more physical manner to help them get away, because he had.
But see, now nobody knows that Luke's dead.
Well, you're
like
right.
As far as the wide,
you're right. Only Rey and Leia know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as far as the wide universe knows, Luke's still alive. He just did that because he's a crotchety old man and decided to fuck with, his nephew for a little bit. And then he went back into hiding.
Yeah, that's true. They never really addressed that. Or maybe they do. I just don't remember in the next movie.
Well, I mean, what we get is the legend of Luke growing, because we get the kids at the very end literally telling the story of them on that
Great
planet. Thank you. Of that battle. Of Luke standing.
Wait, what's the name of the planet?
Crate.
Crate.
Krayt. Crate.
Oh, okay. Not CRATE. Like
no.
Go
ahead and sign me up for a Star Wars spelling bee.
Loot Crate. There you go. Chuck, what did you think?
2 takeaways from it was so when they go to square off, he does the Obi-Wan Kenobi stance, which I know from what is it? Was it Clone Wars? Is the guy who you like so much that voices Maul?
Rebels.
Sam Witwer.
Yeah. He talks about like that fight scene and that he like Obi-Wan goes for like the more offensive stance, and then he's like, wait, I have to change my style, and he does the kind of like defense sword in the front instead of up near the face, and that is the same thing that Luke does. So I thought that was a nice little like Easter egg if you knew that story. Also does make me wonder if the entire time in New Hope Ben is not actually there and he's just force projecting the entire time, and that's why when he just like vanishes when Vader finally kills him.
Yeah, but the robes are there.
True.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But wait, did we see the robes a little while afterwards? Because the dice are there after Luke dies, after his thing goes away. And then they disappear later. Maybe the robes disappeared later and we just don't know it.
Possibly.
God damn it, Chuck.
Actually, you're right. They did disappear because the whole station blew up. So, yeah. No, I really like the scene. It took me, first time watching it, it took me to when Luke was like jumping around with whatever moves. I'm like, that's not right. Something's up here. Him getting blasted by all the bolts. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That's great. That's cool. It wasn't until originally that scene where he's like moving around that I'm like, this doesn't seem right. Upon further watching, a couple things stand out. He is in his hair's cut. He's got the lightsaber that Rey just blew up.
His beard's trimmed.
Everything, like he's basically who he was in the flashback with Kylo, young Kylo. And also there's a moment when Kylo's getting ready to charge and like he moves his feet and you see him like draw a line in the salt. And when we see that with Luke, he like does a shift of his movements, moves his feet, and there is no line. It's subtle hints that if you're actually paying attention, it tells you exactly what's going on.
I did pay attention to it this time, and you're right. There's that scene where you see Kylo's foot move and then Luke's foot move right after, and one has red, one doesn't, and you're like, okay, that's a dead giveaway. But I wasn't even paying attention.
If you know, if you pay attention. Like, but when you're first originally watching it, you're just excited to see these two face off.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm starting to wonder if it's the same situation or it's just because Luke was CG during the entire fight, but Luke doesn't slide once, and Kylo cannot fucking keep his balance on the salt running. Like, I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but he is sliding everywhere because it's not snow, guys. It's salt.
No, it's salt, and we all know salt is very slippery. Not like snow. Different than snow.
Exactly. Totally different.
Anyway.
But I also do throw snow down when I'm trying to clean up an oil spill, so it helps absorb it really well. Good traction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
all right. That's all I got. Anybody else got anything?
That was all my notes.
All right, cool. So nobody lost any limbs, so that's a little sad.
Sad day for Star Wars.
But I did get a kill count of 80.
Damn.
Yeah, it's up there.
Almost as bad as Batman.
Well, I was going to say, we had to have an entire war to have that happen.
I mean, technically, hundreds of people died, but we only have a kill count of 80. So, because of your guys'
the Dreadnought is one.
The Dreadnought is one.
All right.
The Dreadnought is one, and her doing the super hyper jump.
Which is one of the coolest.
Do we know she died? Did we see her?
Yeah, she 100% died.
Did it blow up? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, did the thing?
So when it split out like this at the back of the ship, like that was the pieces of her ship going into the other ships.
Yeah, she literally flew a ship. Flew through hyperspace. She never came out of hyperspace.
Maybe they made her. Maybe they made the ship out of Beskar and like it was totally fine. I don't know.
That was
maybe she's force sensitive and she can.
Maybe she Mary Poppins her way back to
I don't know about you. I was happy she died. I was ready for it. I was just like,
it was a badass though. Come on, she was awesome.
She only did it because she realized that they fucked up.
Well, she didn't mess up. It was post-Invincible.
Yeah.
So she was cleaning up their mess.
Literally.
I mean, technically, she was cleaning up a mess that her and Leia had started prior to that because Poe would have never done what he did.
It was their fault that it happened.
Listen, we're giving women power. They're also going to take responsibility for their actions and their mistakes.
So you're saying that because they blew up Starkiller Base, they deserve this?
No. I'm saying that
That's what happened. They blew up Starkiller Base, and then the First Order came back to retaliate.
Then yeah,
no, I'm saying
nothing like The Empire Strikes Back.
No, yeah, exactly.
Again, I didn't actually put. I literally thought this was a different movie.
Me too.
But no, you guys are right. You guys
there's no similarities. I'm like, they blew up a big space station. They're chasing it down in smaller ships.
It's a story of a bunch of failures. You know what I mean? Like
the difference is
it's a story of trusting people who fail you, just like Lando fucking over Han. Fucking DJ fucks over.
Yeah.
The only other black guy, at least it wasn't the black guy this time in the universe.
Yeah, progress, social
progress.
Very progressive of them.
All right, Ron, what you got for Bingo?
All right, so we've got hero kills, dead parents, dying mentor, government interference, comic book logic, betrayal by a friend, Wilhelm scream, animal cruelty, inability to control powers, villain monologue, unexplainable science, a reformed bad guy, and a fight for control of something.
He was reformed for like all of 5 seconds.
True.
All right, Jordan, who's got a bad feeling?
Well, technically, no one spoke it in English or basic if you're nasty. But apparently, Rian Johnson has said that BB-8 during the opening scene says I got a bad feeling about this in binary speak or droid speak if you're nasty.
And that's why Finn says, that's why Ray, or what's his name?
Poe.
He's like,
happy beeps,
buddy.
So, yeah, it was technically said in this, just we didn't hear it in English.
Nice.
Very good.
Well, I mean, we count droids in death, so I guess we can
do.
count it for here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you know what's surprising? Not any droid deaths in this movie.
Well, finally.
Yeah.
Progression.
Droid rights.
Very progressive of them. Finally not
killing L3 will be proud.
There we go. Yep.
Chuck, Spawn Cape.
Look, Snoke fucking ruined it for everybody on this one. He looked terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of the practical effects stuff I wasn't in love with.
Well, they even had some blue or green screen shots that were not done well in this.
Yeah. It was kind of Leia floating looked terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The only animals on Canto Bight looked awful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the Phasmirs.
Well, even the foxes on Crate.
I like the foxes.
No, I'm not saying I didn't like them. I'm just saying that they looked bad. They looked so fake that
it's the Pokemon I want those things as a Pokemon.
That's actually a Galarian or Alolan Vulpix.
Or Vulpix, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt
Joey, those are Pokemon names.
Yeah.
Joey's a Digimon guy, so
yes, I am.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense now.
Oh,
that's weird. Usually, I would assume Ron would be because they go from cute little things to just hot women. So
that's only one, and that's the cat that turns into the angel.
Digimon is all about existential crisis when you're a 12-year-old. I did not need that in my life.
That's been my whole life. Anyway,
yeah, it's starting to make a lot more sense here, Joe. Anyway, so. Yeah, I don't know, like 2 out of a fucking 1,642.
And for those of you at home, that's bad.
Oh wait, no, that's really good. Shit, we did it wrong. One out of 4. Yeah,
no, it is good.
The numbers need to be closer.
2 out of 1,000 is bad because that means it's like
the closer they are, the worse they are. The further away, the better they are.
That it is. If Spawn is one of
1 out of 1 is Spawn.
You're right.
1 out of 1 is Spawn.
A bad thing, not a good thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Chuck just forgets every other show.
I just constantly no, it's my dyslexia. I think I have my brain and then mouth says the other thing.
The sliding scale.
Yeah, that's how I'm gay. Anyway, 1 out of 4.
Okay. Alrighty. So on to our scores. Jordan, starting with you. Out of 10.
Out of 10. Not out of 13.8. I think short of Rogue One. This is my favorite Star Wars film. Sorry, guys. I love this one. So I'm going to give it... I don't remember
what I gave.
I know. I don't know what I gave. I think Rian Johnson, I just love his writing. I think that this was set up perfectly.
Rogue One a 9.4.
A 9.4? Okay, I'm going to give this a 9.21.
Okay.
I love this movie. Sorry, guys.
That's a crazy statement.
Chuck, what you got for us, bud?
That was egregious. Okay. Look, I actually don't hate this movie. I think it's fine. I think Dan Cole specifically, you ruined it for me, because you made me question Poe for some reason, and I liked Poe. And I think, you know what? I'm not saying Poe was a good person. He's a character who learns lessons in this movie. But I also think he was justified in a lot of the things that he was doing. His goal is he was given a mission and he went to do it and he got it done. And even though he didn't follow directions, they are not in a position to be following directions right now because they're going to get everybody fucking killed. And I think there's a part of him that would say, hey, look, I'll take the punishment later, but right now we need to deal with this. And if you don't think that's how any fucking government or military action works, you're insane. That being said, the space battles look cool. There's a lot of bullshit that just doesn't need to be there. The whole like going to get DJ just feels like a giant MacGuffin to set it up so Finn can kill Phasma and then like kind of like turn them in, which ends up fucking up the whole thing anyway. I don't know. I feel like you could have just gone around a lot easier. But Jordan, you explaining it kind of makes more sense of the idea that it's like this is an entire movie of just failures. Mm-hmm. I don't really like Ren or Rey in this. I really don't like Kylo Ren. Kind of excited the idea that I just don't really like him as a character all that much, especially with how he turns out in the last part. But there's enough in this that like I still like it. I'm gonna say, fuck. Is it a Star Wars movie? Yeah, it's a Star Wars movie. Dan being Poe gives it an extra point. I'm gonna say 6.1. It's a little high. 6.1.
Okay. Also, we never even brought up the fact they weren't there to get DJ. Actually, they were there to get Justin Theroux, but like didn't actually get him.
Yeah, they got arrested before they can get to him.
Right. The stutter. Rob? It was that stutter that killed me.
That's why I hate every decision Benicio del Toro made. I hated, but I still love the movie.
Agree. So I liked this better than I like Rogue One.
Oh my goodness!
But not by much. I mean, Chuck, did you just censor yourself?
Yeah,
I think he's on mute and he doesn't know it.
But he's not on mute. I think he's censoring.
Yeah, he's just yelling nothing right now. He's acting.
But I don't like it much better than I like Rogue One.
I mean, you gave Rogue One a 4.22, so
which is why this one's getting a 4.85.
Okay.
That Rogue One score is the most egregious thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Makes me mad every time I think about it.
I don't think Chuck knows it. And Chuck, we can't hear you, bud.
Oh, he knows it.
Oh, I am well aware you can't hear me. I am just saying things that I know Joey doesn't want to get demonetized for.
We have to have money to get demonetized.
Yeah, I'm getting paid for this? Hold on.
You guys are getting paid?
Wait, you guys don't get the checks that I get?
You know what? It would not surprise me one bit if you got a check for our show.
Yeah.
Would not surprise that.
I tell everyone it's my show anyway.
Anyway.
Joey.
All right. When I first saw this movie, I loved it. This movie was top of my list back in 2017. Back then, maybe like second. I think I still liked Revenge of the Sith over it back then. Since the years, rewatching it from time to time, rewatching it this time, things don't hold up as strong as I remembered. But I still love this movie. This is in my top 5. Actually, technically in my top 3, because I gave it the same score I gave Rogue One, with an 8.52. To me, they are about on the same. Like Rogue One is still a better story and still a stronger story. This one, the underlining story is what I love about Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. But I still love Revenge of the Sith. It's still my favorite Star Wars, and it will always be my favorite Star Wars. Having to do this rewatch for this show has just reiterated that. Now, whenever I do go back and do a complete Star Wars rewatch, read, play, whatever, we'll see how everything plays out. But that's like 2 years from now. That's when I have time. I never have time, so it's never gonna happen.
It's always gonna be 2 years in the future.
Exactly. So 8.52 gives us a combined score of 7.17, which drops it in at number 35 out of 123. It is behind, let's see, the 5 above it. Let's see if it's a 35. So Doctor Strange from 1978 at a 7.25. Batman, Master of the Phantasm at a 7.25. Hellboy, Sword of Storms at 7.25. Daredevil, 7.25. Batman, Mystery of the Batwomen at 7.2. And then just below it, X-Men from 2000, 7.13. Punisher, 7.1 from 2004, mind you, to 7.1. Revenge of the Sith at 7.08. Tales from the Crypt at a 7.05. And the first Alien movie at a 7.03.
Oh, wow. You guys gave Alien that low, huh?
Yeah.
Have you watched it recently?
That was
not in like 6 or 7 years.
Kind of fucked that score up.
Alien 2 was better. Or Alien.
Wait.
Sorry.
I fucked up the score for Alien?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like you didn't like it nearly as much as everybody else. I'm sorry. Batman and the Batwomen? Is that
Mystery of the Batwomen?
Mystery of the Batwomen.
Mystery?
This is where
actually no, I fucked it up. I gave it a 7.05.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this a triple X edit?
No,
I've never heard of it.
No. It's
How
an
old is
animated
that
thing.
movie?
2003.
Oh.
So about 20 years.
Well, they make animated porns, Joey. You know.
I know they do, but this is not animated porn.
Oh,
that's a different podcast he hosts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, I gave Alien a 6.23. I was the lowest score.
That's low,
Really?
man.
Joey gave it a 6.45.
I gotta rewatch that.
Oh, wait, I looked at Aliens. Sorry.
I thought
and Chuck gave it an 8.4. So
yeah, I'm with Chuck. I'm like up there. That's where I would have been.
Yeah.
But when's the last time you watched it?
Like I said, 5 or 6 years ago. But I've seen it a million times before that. I just haven't watched it recently. I used to watch it like every 6 months.
Well, we watched it like 3 months ago. So you listened to the episode. How did you not
check the archives?
No, I didn't listen to Alien. I listened to Aliens, but I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember listening to Alien. I think I accidentally skipped that one.
That's your
go back. It's
my
good
fault.
episode.
I know that is my own fault.
You should go back. It's a good episode.
I'm going back.
About like a what I say, 7.03 episode. All right,
Jordan. Where can they find you? I know Chuck was getting ready to say something, and I feel bad. But
no, I was going to start closing out the show.
Okay. Well, then let me tell you where you can find me. You can find me BS and Craft Beer on Instagram. That's really all I do, and I don't even post much over there anymore. Or I guess if you want, you can go check out my old podcast. Direct My Podcast is still on YouTube, just bouncing around there, not wanting to.
Is it really?
It's still on YouTube. So if you ever
want
to,
fascinating.
I know. I watched.
Well, YouTube. You don't have to pay to keep shit up.
Exactly. I watched an episode the other day. I was like, man, that was fun times. Okay, back to work.
Yeah.
Get the
I like you. We finally finished the Elite Showdown episodes, and Tim and I both looked at each other, and we were like, "Hey, this was fun. I don't want to do this anymore, though." Like, he's like, "Yeah, I agree.
Those were fun times, but they'll live in the past."
Yeah. The magic.
What about you? Who's next? Chuck, where they can find you?
You know where you can find me? Patreon.com/professional casual. Hit that 301 tier that directly supports this show. And you can get access to the Discord. You can go in there and shit on Dan for his terrible movie takes and how characters are being written because I am by law legally not allowed to do that anymore. So I recommend that everybody else go and do it. 301 patreon.com/professional casual. Ronald?
You forgot to say that they can find you at Kicked Out of the Hood and Kicked Out of the Hobby. And
maybe he doesn't want people to go check him there.
I haven't been doing that. I've been using
E's in any of those, but they're on Instagram and TikTok and
I've
probably
just
other
been
places.
Plugging. You want to know how I know you don't listen to the episodes? Because I've just been plugging Patreon during this for like.
I know you have, and that's why I threw this out there because I was listening to the last episode. And I'm like, man, I haven't heard Chuck, promote himself in a while.
Because there's a possibility that students will find this show before they find my Instagrams. So, and I had a few find my Instagrams.
Oh, you can also find him and Kicked Out of the Bedroom, no E and Kicked on OnlyFans and.
Bedroom?
Well, yeah.
Chuck's showing a lot of the good meat on his Instagram. So
that's true.
Anyways. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Good at This Game. You can find my art on Instagram at Good Art This Game, and you can find me here where this wonderful podcast is sold. Joey?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Threads at Comic Book Rundown. You can email the show, comicbookrundown@gmail.com. Rate and review us on your podcast. You have a choice. If you do, we'll read it on an upcoming episode. Maybe. I don't know. We've got merch over
Why
at
don't you
Redbubble.
do it and find out? How's that for an idea?
There you go. Merch at Redbubble and TeePublic. We got new merch coming periodically. Our song was done by Dr. Father Dr. Cam. So our next movie, we were just kind of talking about it. It's gonna be Alien 3.
Oh no!
One of the few Alien movies I haven't seen, so maybe I'll have to watch this before I listen to you guys.
Interesting. Yeah,
I don't think I've seen this one either.
Is it Joss
say
Whedon?
it.
No, God no.
No, why did I think Joss Whedon did an Alien movie?
Maybe he did one of the later ones.
Nah, maybe I'm making stuff up.
I mean, there's like what 7 Alien movies or something like that. 8 Alien movies.
Now there is, yeah.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 in the new era of them. Like,
Here's my question:
Romulan,
why do we have Alien, Aliens, and then Alien 3? What happened to Alien 2?
Alien Cubed, because the 3's like a little tiny up there. Alien Cubed.
James Cameron doesn't like sequels?
I guess
that's not true because he did Terminator 2
and Avatar
and Avatar. Well,
and Titanic 2, which actually James Cameron didn't do, but there is a Titanic 2 actually out there.
Yeah, there is.
Is it a horror movie?
The Titanic comes back to get revenge.
Yeah, it's like Jaws. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yo, everybody see that big ass boat? Why is it coming so close?
Why does it keep hitting icebergs and trying to sink them?
Yeah, I've never seen Alien 3, and I never hear anybody talk about Alien 3. So,
from my understanding, nobody likes Alien 3. There's something that happens in the
Is it this one where like Sigourney Weaver's like a clone or something? And I don't know. We'll get into it next week.
I believe that's Resurrection.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I've seen that one.
Resurrection, I think, is the one Joss Whedon did. I'm
that's
like
possible.
so positive that Joss Whedon did one.
All right. Well, next week. Fuck. All right.
And
also, no, I forgot. Also, patreon.com/professional casual. Check out the once a month show. You're getting content finally. Joey and I are reviewing the latest and greatest of movie franchises. It's called Getting Franchised. We have covered the whole first season is the horror corner. We have decided to call it. So we're doing all horror movies. So we have Hellraiser, the original, and the Hulu reboot. Mm-hmm. And we just recorded Child's Play 1988 and Child's Play 2017, starring Mark Hamill. So
Child's Play, the original.
Yes.
No,
I'm just saying the original Chef's Kiss of Child's Play.
Yeah. So it spoilers, we really liked it. So yeah. And then Mark Hamill does the voice of Chucky. It's weird.
Hopefully that one will be out at the time of release. Hopefully it'll be out next month. Time of release, I should have the one covering Hellraiser up on the Patreon. So
perfect.
301 tier. You can
301. There it is.
Go list to them.
I might have to bump my tier up to finally get some.
I might have to resubscribe just to listen to you guys talk.
Just do it once a month and then cancel it and then piss Tim off and then like wait 3 months and then do it again and then get access to him and cancel it.
That's how I'd handle Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it really fucks with his bullshit.
I gotta get a hold of Tim or probably even Dan just to get.
Dan would probably. Well,
I can upload it. That way they don't have to. I don't have to actually email them or anything.
Yeah, I'm sure if you ask,
it's uploaded.
I'm sure if you ask Dan, he'll probably just give it to you. I would think that Tim would because it's work he doesn't have to do. So
I'll reach out to one or both of them and see what happens.
Do Dan first. Dan will probably tell you to just talk to Tim and then go talk to him. Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
We will see you next time watching Aliens 3.
Scooby Doo, Scooby Doo, Scooby Doo.